And the floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, I want to dissent, and substantially dissent. In my view, the European Fund for Strategic Investment is a false start for the Juncker recovery plan. It's not needed, it's not viable, it's not useful in the degree to which it distracts from the fact that the European Union already has instruments for an investment-led recovery, not counting on national debt, nor needing new institutions, nor needing any guarantees. I put this in a paper which I hope has been made available to MEPs. It has 4 main points. One, the proposal for this fund stems from a brilliant analysis by the Polish finance minister, Mateusz Cezurek, of the need for an investment-led recovery of the European economy, but also from a major misperception that the European Investment Fund, which already exists, which I recommended to Jacques Delors in 1993 and he established in 1994, according to Mateusz, cannot promote such an investment-led recovery, whereas the EIF was designed to do so, and its statutes enable it to issue bonds which, like EIB bonds, neither count on national debt nor need to count on national debt. Secondly, the criteria for investment-led recovery do not need to be devised. The 1994 European Council agreed to fund the TENs, Trans-European Transport and Telecommunications networks, which also already cover the much heralded need for European broadband. The Amsterdam Special Action Programme of 1997 extended the terms of the European Investment Bank to invest in health, education, urban regeneration, green technologies, safeguarding the environment, and support for small and medium firms. By issuing bonds, which was one of the original design aims in my recommendations to Delors for a European Investment Fund, that its bonds should finance a European venture capital fund. Guarantees to small and medium firms when the European economy is in recession are no use. They're pushing on a piece of string. Third, in principle, the proposed fund is a PPP. It's a public-private partnership. But as Mateusz Cezurek has already lamented, there's no public. It has no public money. Its expected leverage of 15, as Jyrki Katainen already has recognized, is far too high. He suggested it should be reduced to 5, but this is still far too high. And the fund does not fulfill the recommendation by Jean-Claude Juncker in his adoption address to the European Parliament in July last year for an EIB bond-funded investment recovery. This is not the original Juncker proposal. The fund not only risks being a talk shop rather than a workshop, a European recovery is needed from now. How long are we going to talk about what investment criteria should be decided by whom, where, why and when? You know, we're already 8 months from the adoption of Jean-Claude Juncker, which I welcomed by the European Parliament. Are we going to wait another 8 months before a single piece of ground is broken with a new investment? I am not arguing, I am arguing of course very strongly, but I am not arguing that the fund should be dropped or blocked. But there should be recognition by the Parliament, which I hope will be in the forthcoming report, that in the EIB and the EIF, European Investment Fund, the Union already has the institutions for an investment-led recovery without treaty revisions, without fiscal transfers, without new institutions, and especially without guarantees. Now, when Mateusz Cezurek said that the new fund was needed, in an address to Bruegel last September, he said its size, its scale will be different from the European Investment Fund, which is only 4.5 billion of capital and facilitates SMEs' access to finance. But this is not the actual statutory remit of the European Investment Fund. That's a misreading of the website. You know, the fund itself does not advertise that. Article 2.1 says the task of the fund shall be to contribute to the pursuit of community objectives. Now, intentionally, in my advice to Delors, this was as wide as the original open-ended remit for the European Investment Bank. There is no reference in the EIFs, the fund's statutes, to its being limited to financial support for SMEs. Article 2.2 specifies the activities of the fund may include borrowing operations. In other words, it can issue bonds, which was confirmed by both the EIB and the EIF to a working party of the Economic and Social Committee in 2012 which endorsed these proposals with existing institutions for recovery of the European economy. Secondly, there's a great question of where the money is coming from, as if it has to come from Germany. It doesn't have to come from anywhere within Europe. It can recycle global surpluses. Now, the scale of these surpluses is simply immense. Bill Gross of PIMCO said 2 years ago he wanted long-term public investment because he couldn't make any decent return on pension funds at these very low rates of interest. The China Investment Corporation in 2012 made losses on private sector investments in Europe and said it wanted public investment bonds of 10 years or more, which the EIB can do. Now, I have very high regard for Philippe Maystadt, as he knows, and it's very genuine. It was very useful at a meeting here in Brussels in December when I put my hand up and said, put your hands up, all those of you who know that European Investment Bank borrowing is not counted on national debt. Not one of the personalities in that meeting, all of whom were in favour of recovery, recognized this. Philippe confirmed it. But of course he's quite right to be concerned that the EIB should be concerned about its AAA rating, because it is highly dependent on pension funds, and pension funds need that. But the whole role of the European Investment Fund, as I recommended it to the law, is to complement the European Investment Bank by recycling global surpluses. And they are simply immense. They're in hundreds of billions. And it should be able to do so without a major increase in its subscribed capital. There's also a distinction which is important to make between this word leverage and multipliers. Leverage is an expected multiplication of private sector investment, but it's not a multiplier. An investment multiplier does generate resources. And the investment multipliers of the European Investment Bank have ranged from 2.5 to 3. What that means is put in 100 billions of investment financed by recycled global sovereign wealth fund surpluses, and you can fulfill the target of 300 billions investment-led recovery, which Jean-Claude Juncker made to the European Parliament in July. Nor, in my view, should governments be terrified by rating agencies or bond markets. For example, it was very much overlooked in January 2012 when Standard & Poor downgraded the debt of 9 member states. It gave 3 reasons for this. One was deleveraging, cutting by governments and households. The second was there was no investment recovery plan, and without investments you would get no viability on government bonds. And in my view also, not only in my view, I would claim in reality, there's no need for new investment criteria. When set up a panel to determine these projects to talk and talk again instead of act. Since the Amsterdam Special Action Programme committed the EIB to invest in health, education, urban regeneration, green technology, finance for small and medium terms. Urban regeneration alone is vast. It can mean renovation, new building, renewal, new public transport, trams, metro systems, electricity, gas, water supply systems, and a recovery of private sector construction. This is all entirely viable now, without waiting for it. And it should be launched, indeed, in my view, in terms of the recommendation that I made to Jacques Delors for his Employment Competitiveness White Paper of December 1993. Not just a new arcane financial instrument that makes no resonance with the European public. Who can even, outside this room, ask a tram driver, what do you think of the European Fund for Strategic Investment? And don't expect a clear answer. What is really needed is a new deal for Europe, like the Roosevelt New Deal of the 1930s. Roosevelt shifted savings high in recession or depression into environmental and social investments, such as the Tennessee Valley Authority. And what is striking about the success he had in reducing unemployment from nearly 25% to under 10% within 7 years before the outbreak of World War II is that he did it with an average federal budget deficit of only 3%. In other words, the initial Maastricht limit. So I recommend caution, halt, don't carry on talking again about a new fund, or talk if you wish to. Endorse the fact that we already have these two institutions, European Investment Bank, mainly pension fund, European Investment Fund, to recycle global surpluses, and that this work for a European New Deal could start not in 8 months' time, but from now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Holland. So we had, as you see, a broad range of views that is useful, and of course we learned that according to some, the Juncker Plan is not the Juncker Plan, but this is an interesting point to debate. I'm sure that our rapporteurs now will put questions that contribute to the debate. The first speaker is Udo Bullmann for 3 minutes. Peter Fernandez. Okay, which?
Muito obrigado, Sr. Presidente. Eu queria saudar todos os intervenientes neste painel e também a diferença de opiniões. Eu sou daqueles que considero que este plano Juncker, este fundo, vai permitir, para além do investimento, como aqui também foi referido, vai permitir diminuir burocracias, aprofundar o mercado interno e também, algo que não tem sido referido, apoiar as empresas, e nomeadamente as pequenas e médias empresas. É um instrumento, no fundo, adicional, que não põe em causa também os outros instrumentos que temos. É complementar e não vem substituir aquilo que já existe. Não vejo o que é que podemos perder com o plano. Eu acho que só temos a ganhar com o plano. É evidente que podemos assumir sempre o papel do velho do Restelo, que foi uma personagem que um grande poeta português criou, Luís Vaz de Camões, e onde o velho do Restelo estava sempre a dizer, na altura dos descobrimentos, eles nunca hão de conseguir. Os barcos estão a sair, mas eles vão morrer todos e ninguém há de descobrir nenhum mundo novo, nem novas oportunidades. Podemos sempre assumir esse papel e será, se calhar, o papel mais fácil. Eu considero que nós ainda temos mundos a descobrir, ainda há projetos, e nomeadamente projetos privados, que podem ser executados e que têm espaço para criarem emprego, para criarem crescimento. Mas eu vou diretamente a uma pergunta que aqui, e a uma preocupação que tenho. O Comitê de Investimentos é uma espécie de uma pré-seleção, o Comitê d'Investissement. Mas depois a seleção não poderá ficar só a cargo do Banco Europeu de Investimentos. A seleção e a mobilização do investimento deverá ficar a cargo também da Comissão Europeia e, aliás, é esse o procedimento que está previsto. Não sei se o devemos tornar mais claro. Depois, uma outra vertente tem a ver com a necessidade da coesão. Este também é um plano que poderá servir para colmatar falhas de mercado. E é importante que isso fique bem claro. E, nesse sentido, a plataforma de aconselhamento que está prevista, e gostava, num comentário vosso, que serve para estruturar projetos, é uma plataforma que eu considero que deveria ser gratuita para procurar fomentar precisamente a coesão territorial que, com as falhas de mercado que o plano deve ajudar a colmatar e também com esta ajuda para a estruturação dos projetos por parte da plataforma de investimentos, poderíamos ajudar a que a coesão também estivesse aqui bem presente neste plano. Muito obrigado.
Thank you. Udo Bullmann, Econ Rapporteur.
Dankeschön, die Vorsitzende.